I think so.
Yeah, of course.
How you doing, boys?
Tastosis?
It's good.
Yeah, they're a very legendary Archon.
You used to watch them, right? You played StarCraft.
Yeah, it's like in my blood.
Yeah.
We have to come up with a kind of mixed name for you, though.
Yeah?
Like
People have tried.
Blitterlist.
Our names don't really
doesn't. It's
fit
not a
together.
natural. Yeah, not a
Yeah,
natural
no.
fit. No surprise, really. First game of the day, Virtus Pro winning.
I don't think so. I think VP just have looked a bit better so far in this tournament. They have looked better before the tournament as well, and Evil Geniuses seem to suffer from sort of the same weaknesses that we've seen for a while now.
Greed. Too much greed.
Yep.
Arthur has been dying in the jungle a lot. They've been like having this kind of efficient farming pattern and getting punished by it. But isn't the point of like moving Universe out of the roster because they were too greedy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It feels like there's another problem too, is like with the warding and their adaptation to it. Like we don't talk. I think that's like the one thing I fail at. Is like I don't talk about the wards enough because that same ward spotted Artur twice, and they were able to kill him like back-to-back times, and that was huge. When the Lion just places that ward there, he smokes up, he goes and gets a solo kill on a troll. Like how often do you see stuff like that happen? It ruins the flow of the game for him. So, I mean, that was just really well done by VP overall.
Yep, good preparation, I guess, from them. Let's turn our attention to this one, TNC versus Optic. It's quite a fun matchup, isn't it, between these two? Both had a good group stage.
TNC probably the slight favorites, I'd say, based on how they play. Maybe not too much, but slightly, because they seem really shaky after losing the third game. You know. I would say if you lose like this in a tournament, it affects the game, your games. You know, we saw it from Optic. They were supposed to, be easy. Everything will be easy for them. They win the last game against King Gaming, everything will be fine. But they lost that game. They looked shaky. I could see that affecting TNC as well after losing a 28k goal lead yesterday. That's a really bad kind of loss you want to have.
Yeah, we got the bus back with them to the hotel last night, and there was absolute stony silence. Not a
Nobody
word,
was saying.
Not a word exchanged, which was really weird because we got the bus back with Secret the night before when they lost.
Yeah.
And they went out of the tournament. They're still chatting about stuff. They're talking about stuff all
They're
the
trying to
time.
retool.
Still having fun, and they're still talking between each other. And it's kind of. I guess there's a different position in the DPC for them right now. But I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe like Winter said, maybe it hurt TNC quite badly yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's not just like losing; it's the way you lose. Like when I've been a part of a team, if it's like a close game, everyone wants to talk about it. It's like where did we go wrong? Like where did it break? But if it's a game like that where you blow that kind of like everyone knows that you probably should have won. Like what else? What is there to say, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we should have won. We didn't.
If you start talking, it's going to be like...
It's a blame game.
Oftentimes it's a bad thing if they start talking because then it's like, whose blame is it? Like, who's the reason, the fault that we threw that game? So,
But you have to go through it.
Sure.
Otherwise, what if it happens again? Then that's going to be stuff that causes the team to disband or change roster. You cannot afford to have this kind of comeback happen twice. Like, not even like one time is bad, but if you let it happen again, you don't solve the problem. I think the team is just done.
All right, let's introduce you to the two teams who are ready to come out on the stage.
Welcome on stage, TNC Predator. Welcome on stage, Optic Gaming.
If you've been following the introductions, you'll know that each team comes out with a unique weapon. In the immortal words of Blitz, if TNC have got paper clips and the other team have a double-ended sword, they're in trouble. That said, I have to point out the Liquid have a stick, and they beat Virtus Pro yesterday. So
No, but
it doesn't
stick is
always.
hard.
No, the guys had like swords and stuff. You can chop sticks up.
No,
They
it's
would.
like the guy literally had a bunch of paper clips attached to paper. Like, what is he supposed to do with that? That's how I judge.
You know, one
like,
team has a fan, right?
Yeah, it's like this is my really arbitrary way of judging.
So
Who's gonna win or lose?
I'm really confused about that. Like, did the weapon get confiscated? And he was like, no
he
one
had
will
to
notice
improvise?
that these are paper clips strung together. Like, what?
No, it's cool. It's cool.
All right.
I like the ingenuity.
Let's move on to some more science between these two teams. When it comes to draft, did TNC have a slight edge in your opinion because they can go a little bit wild now, and the patch has actually helped them a little bit?
I don't know. I think Optic has a much bigger hero pool. TNC seems to be much more predictable. You know what kind of lineup they're going to go for. Maybe there might be like one or two rather different heroes, but overall, I feel like Optic has a wider hero pool, so I'm going to give them the edge in the draft.
And it feels like due to history as well, TNC would probably more likely, because the 2 wins that they had like more aggressive hero style that they were really pressuring into Optic, both as the Bucharest major as well as the first best one here. And then the game they lost was the slower paced lineup with the Morphling, where it was Optic who actually had the team fighting push power of the Luna and really took it to TNC. So it feels like very likely TNC is already backed into a corner of kind of play style and heroes that they're going to be running.
Right. And there's also quite a few heroes, Will, that they're going to contest here, presumably.
Yeah, you've got. I don't even know if they banned the Tiny after yesterday, just because. It's weird because they pick good heroes, but at the same time, like when you lose against Mineski like that, like how much of it do you blame on your draft? And you're like, well, these were some of the ideas that helped us get far in the tournament, versus like maybe we just all played bad, and that's the scary thing about Dota. But I think the key here is like you give PyCat like the best matchup against Raven, so that he almost always can outscale him. I think it's the idea.
There can only be one hero, Terrorblade, the ultimate carry.
Yeah, and they play PL a lot too.
But I guess TB might be the most contested hero between these two teams and the key hero, since the way they're playing, they rely on their carry players a lot. So might see the hero being snatched up in the first phase, or we might see him first ban in the first phase.
Okay. What about the supports?
Supports. Tims and Zai.
If we have, if we pick up some sort of Dark Will on the side of Optic, I wouldn't be surprised if TNC go for their next assassin. I think that's been relatively successful for them.
Who did Tim's play for at Boston Major? Do you recall? He was there, right?
I don't remember. It should be his previous team was Execration.
Okay. I mean, whenever I watch that guy play, I think he's an absolute beast. Tim's, I feel like TNC, they grabbed a really aggressive forward position player, not greedy, just like runs in, fights. It kind of like sets the tone. I think there's like a very like decisive way that both teams should play. I think Optic should opt to like try to get a little bit greedier than TNC so they secure the late game. Give PyCat and CCNC slightly better matchups. And I think for TNC, it's fight as often and early as possible, try to take objectives off of kills, be aggressive around the map, and punish everything. Because that's what got them so successful.
I think they have to be very careful about getting better late game on Optic, because I don't think you should try to be too greedy though. Because
Yeah, it's like a balance. You got to be very slightly.
yeah, slightly like the matchup you mentioned. Maybe just make sure that Packard always has the better late gamer. So it's gonna be like TB or Troll, one of those heroes. But on the other hand, you should be careful of not sacrificing too much of your lane.
Yes.
Yeah, you still want, I think 33 is going to be the man who needs to be able to challenge a lot of TNC's aggression. We already said, okay, we want the good core matchups for both PyCat as well as CCNC. Well, that leaves 33 in a position where he's probably going to have maybe a disadvantageous matchup. He's probably going to have more of a faster pace early game hero. I'm not even sure if they should run something like the Abandon for him. I think that's almost too slow and too defensive. I think they should get in their face.
I think he has one key hero that could just dismantle TNC, the Brood. And if it's a good Brood game, I want to see PPD taking the risk where I am not going to get it on the last pick.
Yep.
I'm going to get it on the 4th pick, but it gives TNC 2 picks to respond to my Brood. But I know that TNC is playing in a certain way. They don't have many heroes. You look at their heroes, a lot of their cores, and they don't play heroes that have like long cooldowns like the Tidal Underlord. Those are good heroes against the Brood. So the Brood might be a very, very important hero. If you're willing to take the risk in the 4th pick and give them 2 response to it, it might pay out for them.
Okay. Sam H has had a good tournament. MVP in the game yesterday as well, and a nice wide hero pool. Is he someone they're going to try and play around a little bit more?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like both these teams like value their offlaners, and Sam H has been pretty consistent overall. I think probably, as important as he is, I think like Raven is probably the most important player on this team.
Yes, I agree to that. I think Raven is their key player, like most important player.
Yeah, if he has a good game, like when this guy goes like 13-0, it's like it's done. It's a wrap. Most of the time, TNC just continues to roll. This is as weird as it is. Oftentimes, like we compare offlaner to offlaner or forward position to forward position, but I think this is the matchup where the carry against the carry is the most important.
It's so close though. Look at all the stats. Everything is very, very near to each other.
Yeah, because they fulfill the same role for both their teams. Win the late game if possible, get aggressive mid game.
Okay. Nothing more can be said about that. That is the key matchup. It's been on the screen. Cap, from a North American point of view, Optic obviously they're looking for DPC.
Going for the NA caster route again?
I'm going for the NA caster
right.
route, yeah. They're obviously looking for DPC points,
Yeah.
right? None on the board so far.
And Peter has complained enough about the fact that there are certain invites or certain situations.
Yeah.
So the best thing he could do is get himself a lot of DPC points.
Was
get
kind of
invited.
where I was going with that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I could see where you were going.
But just
Paul.
when you get the opportunity, surely you've got to take it, right?
Yeah, just
especially
win.
when you're playing well, and they have played well in the group stages.
Yeah.
So would it be more disappointing for them here, not to get DPC points, or are they still looking at as many of the last 4 majors that we've got to try and pick up as many as they can?
Look, I'll be honest. The way I look at Optic right now, I'm not sure if they're going to get in that top 8 situation. No points, a little bit difficult. I'm not sure how many they've actually qualified for the upcoming tournaments, but I don't think they've qualified for all of them. So I think Optic, more than anything, should just try and survive and play a lot more, learn, and prepare themselves for TI.
Qualifiers.
Yep, TI qualifiers, indeed.
Okay.
Unless they straight up go insane and just win this
Here's
tournament.
the thing. I just want to throw
major.
this at you, right? If any of these teams, TNC included, Optic, any of the teams with 0 points right now,
Yeah,
Okay.
win 1 major, they go 4th.
yeah, that's going to be massive. So we
And I
shouldn't
think
count.
that's could almost be enough to get them in.
Yeah, I think that this is a good opportunity for them right here.
Entire team pick.
They both play in very competitive regions. Like you want to avoid those qualifiers if possible.
yeah.
TNC would have to potentially go up against Moneski, Fnatic, like
The
that's
triangle, the
yeah,
C triangle.
It's a very dangerous field, and if you can only pull 1 or 2 of those teams, you don't want to be in that position. And same for Optic, who immediately
Okay, Optic got this.
So,
Holy Moses.
Paul, you said that TNC are booned a little bit by the fact that there's this new patch, but Optic actually had the same thing. They
Yeah.
play the Pangolier, they
Yeah.
also play the Dark Willow. So
10 seconds remaining.
there's nothing really wrong with this matchup when it comes to the newer heroes.
Naga. I want to see a Naga against the Pango, possibly.
Yeah,
One of
Maybe
the
John.
be okay with Bane as well.
I think Naga is probably the hardest counter to Pango.
Yeah, because it's just a low cooldown, non-ultimate ability to throw.
Dire team pick.
Very
indeed.
nice.
Siren.
And they have the combo with the gyro, Naga plus gyro. So pretty good opening here. Solid opening, I'd say, against what Optic have. I don't know about you guys, but TNC is on Radiant. I have a good feeling about being on Radiant
we
now.
could do a whole show on Radiant versus Dire because we literally spent 20 minutes talking about it earlier today. But they are ahead. I think it's 14-4 right now. So it could be wrong on that one. Just on the main stage anyway.
So with TB out, is PL the strongest carry? Because we discussed a bit about how you want to give Paikat the strongest hero in the game, but they're picking it up so early. Or could it be CC and C playing the hero?
I think that's why they pick it up here, because there's a lot of flexibility to it, and it's nice against gyro. Like
The
there's a certain
lane
point,
matchup?
yeah, and eventually the flat cannon you don't really get bothered by because you can kite around, you get a heart. The matchup feels okay. TNC might respond by doing something a little bit different though. They could go like gyro carry into like Lesh mid or something like that.
10 seconds remaining.
We saw EG do that against Secret.
Mm-hmm.
If you go for the Lesh mid, it puts you like on a little bit of a timer, but it's a pretty decent matchup. You get things like Veil, it's fine.
I mean, they've run Lash mid and support though. What do you think of the support Lash so far?
When it looks good, it looks really good. But at the same time, your hero requires you to like be really close. Your 5-position hero that has to like have like a short cast range, like if you want to use Edict, for example, or Pulse Nova. So it brings you out of position. There's like most 5-position heroes are like, they deal less damage, but they get to play the positional game. Like you're a Lion, you get to long range hex stun, and then just walk in and out of fights. But with a hero like Leshrac, you don't really get those same opportunities because half your toolkit makes you be in melee range.
Eventually, right? But we did see from Kuku's position from the Leshrac, he just spammed out the lightning a bunch from a distance. So it feels like that buff makes it kind of credible, but I think you're still right. Like eventually you're going to have to try and get in there as a Leshrac, and especially against these heroes already from Optic, it's going to be, I feel like a support Leshrac is going to get blown up pretty quickly.
But
Pango rips you apart.
they're gonna need like a wave clear hero though. I don't like going for like some witch doctor kind of hero against PL. I mean, Disruptor will be okay against PL. But yeah, they might have to draft more stuff to deal with the illusions of the PL. And Disruptor ideally because it also synergizes well with this song. For Optic, they remove the Omni. It's a hero that we've seen sometimes can be forgotten by teams, as we mentioned in the previous panel. And there's this one game, Omni Knight comes out, destroys his lane, and everyone will remember the hero again.
Oh, I like that puck ban a lot.
Disruptor?
Still the Lash though.
Okay, so we were correct on that.
Yep.
It's a decent assumption, like because you can
Just
be
'cause it's
flexible
so
about
open,
it.
right?
Yeah,
You could still do 2, you could still do 5. Matches up well against the PL.
But you guys like the core Lash more against PL.
I personally like the core
Yeah.
Leshrac a little bit more, yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
but the key here is like it's like 7-3 for me. You could put it 70-30. Like you could put. I think it's most likely mid, but if you need to adjust because of the next pick from Optic or the next 2 picks, like you're okay. You can do that. I like the
So-
puck ban, by the way, because of the in response, like TNC bans DK, which is one of the better heroes in lane and in game because of the instant stun and the range stun, plus the breathe fire and the regen makes it so that the matchup is okay.
It's another one of those AoE
Yeah.
bursts that gets a decent amount on PL.
TNC's turn to
Despite what I said earlier, I actually think the Abaddon is kind of okay for TNC now, just also because it's a Radiance hero at
They
some
need a
point.
front line.
Yeah.
I might prefer Underlord a little more because of the illusions for PL.
Dire team
Okay.
You have the Firestorm against that.
Oh, SK.
Sand King. So
They've run this before
Sand
at this
King
event.
is their off lane, more or less.
Yeah,
With
you
Lesh
want
as a
that
support.
core.
Unless they're doing some Naga off lane. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
This is the fourth match that they've played with the Leshrac, and they've won all the previous 3 here at DAC as well.
5
So do you
seconds
feel like that
remaining.
makes it more likely that TNC are running this support Leshrac and
Yeah.
they're leaving a core
Yeah,
for last
I,
fight?
I think so.
That's how they've run it the previous 3.
Oh, this is the hero that
Naga counter.
yeah, and they beat who was it? It was like Newbie? Because either they beat one of the Chinese teams, Nubia or LGD, with Clockwork offlane.
And you have the synergy with the Pango.
Pango.
You cogs and he just destroys whoever's inside.
Yeah, he jumps in or shield crashes in.
I mean, it's not like a big deal, but it's something.
Does it just go like ding, 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 ding?
You can, if you are smart, you position yourself on one of the far end of the cogs, and so when he first comes in, he knocks you out of the cogs. But
Okay.
if you're in the middle of the cogs and he hits you,
I think you're
you could,
screwed.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're screwed. You just get
Oh.
bounced back and forth.
That's
constantly.
hilarious.
So
Dire team
you really have to.
You straight up-
positioning is really important in
You
that
get pinball
situation.
machined?
Yeah, you. Like if you're ever in a situation where you know you're gonna get hit by a pango, always position yourself like next to a cliff.
Yeah.
That way you can at least get knocked over.
Oh,
You have
so
a
what
better
is
chance.
that? I think that's a
10
mid gyro,
seconds remaining.
considering the bands.
Yeah. You think
5
the OD
seconds remaining.
matches
Yeah.
up pretty well against him?
I mean, things are still.
Mm.
They'll see Optics pick first, anyways.
I personally like it more on Raven. So, but like you said, it's probably gonna just be based on who gets the better matchup since he's flexible anyways, and they have the final pick here. So Optic has to assume the pie card here. Do you think they might have a chance of running the PL as a carry and pick a good matchup in mid?
I think that's the key to the PL here, is that they've left it entirely open. And TNC thinks it's a carry. And
I do like the fact as well that they've taken away the Gyro, the Terrorblade, and the Dragon Knight away from Optic, which are the three most played heroes at DAC other than Sand King, which they've also taken away.
they're hedging their bets. Like they're not certain. Like you can see that they're not certain either. Because after the PL gets picked, they ban 2 from each, right? They ban 2 safe laner, 2 mid laners.
I mean, their lineup seems a bit like the opening seems a bit weird. That's why I feel like it's not easy to like piece the puzzles together.
Yeah.
And with the Clockwork, do you think that the Pango is the core, the Clockwork is the core, and which one is the support?
Dire team pick.
Is Zai more likely going to pay the Pango?
Just based off of what we've seen before, it's got to be Zai, I think.
And because it's a good Clockwork game against Gyro, Naga, and the Lash, so you want Clockwork to
I
have
mean,
more.
I would love offlane clock just because I think a blade mail really effective here against this Leshrac and Gyrocopter.
Don't you hate playing
10
if you're like a
seconds
4
remaining.
position clock? Don't you hate playing against like heroes like Sand King because you can't do anything?
5
Yeah,
seconds remaining.
But for Pango as well, you could make the same argument. Pango as a support. It's not that easy to do a lot in the game.
That makes it more likely, I guess.
I don't know, man. They have this Lone Druid hero and PL hero. These two heroes are, I would say, same category hero. They require a lot of farm. They are 2 position 1 heroes
10
in the game.
seconds remaining.
It's different if you compare to TNC. If they have this
5
Gyro,
seconds
even though
remaining.
he's kind of like a position 1 hero, but he can be played like how VP plays it. He runs around, creates tempo. He just does not play like a position 1. He just sacrifices himself and creates space for the other hero. But for PR and Lone Druid, they're kind of not heroes that can do that. One hero wants to farm a Radiance. The PR wants to get to his diffusal before he wants to fight. So those 2 heroes are not going to be able to fight, say, for the first 10, 15 minutes of the game.
What about PA here?
PA
I was thinking Razor against the Lone Druid. Because you've got a lot of AoE to deal with the PL, right? So you're just focusing on a core that gives you fast pace, goes high ground, and goes against the Lone Druid. Is that the idea that you're going for?
I just wanted somebody that could jump and get a BKB.
Mm.
I feel like once it gets B Fury, it'll be fine against PL too.
Yeah.
Because Optic's lineup is a little bit greedier, and PA just lets you fight, but who knows? Oh, they take
You
Timber.
may now
There's
select your
Timber
heroes.
against Lone Druid and PL. That's a really, really good pick here. And they were kind of lacking like a front line, I would say. I think Gyro is like he's in between the fights. Same goes for Sand King's going to be behind, waiting for a jump. So Timber will provide them with that.
A Zai Pango.
Yep. 33.
Yep. So he's going
Core
to take the
clock.
clock instead. Okay. Draft done.
Dude, I feel like
Pick the bones out of this.
Not a big fan of what Optic did here in this game. I think they did what we discussed. I think they're being too greedy in this game with the draft. So it's very difficult for me to side them. I'm going to go with TNC.
Yeah, I think like CCNC, look how much AoE he has to deal with. Leshrac, Gyrocopter, Timbersaw. Like that poor guy, I'm not sure if he's going to have much of a game. So it's going to be a lot on PyCat. He's done it before, but I'm still going to go for TNC.
Yeah, TNC.
All three of you TNC. Okay. I'm mildly concerned.
You
that-
weirded out that Blitz agreed with us?
I kind of am. Normally it doesn't work. We normally don't get any agreement from Blitz at all, but all three of them have gone for TNC this time around. Is it a one-sided match or not? Let's head to the arena and find out as Dream Green goes head-to-head with the boys in orange.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Yes, best of one now between TNC and Optic Gaming. I'm Odie Pixel, I'm here with Fog. This should be an exciting one. We've got some fun old heroes. We have the Pangolier.
We do.
But nonetheless, overall, the panel are heavily favoring TNC's lineup this time.
You know, you look at it and you see TNC, they've got a lineup where it's all about that aggression. And that's where they've been thriving. They have very limited cooldowns. The only real one is like Sand King, Epi, and Naga Sleep, but they're not looking to really use those in the early game until they get like Blink Tag on the Sand King. Everything else is just going to be run at you. And this PL, CCNC has got a world of hurt for him. There's a Leshrac, there's a Sand King, there's a Gyro, there's a Timber. All these heroes, they can do quite well versus the PL unless the PL gets to the later stage and gets absolutely enormous. So I'm definitely feeling a bit concerned. Optic going for a very greedy route versus TNC, a very aggressive team that likes to punish these greed approaches.
It'll be interesting to see how they can hold it on to the game. Maybe Optic Gaming with this sort of lineup are hoping for the fact that even if they do get behind, they're going to be able to sort of split the lanes out with this lone druid, sort of play the game to a point where we have seen TNC sort of find their weakness sometimes, where they do get an advantage, they can't end it. Optic Gaming, they have got ways to really keep the game going, even if behind.
They don't really have the greatest wave clear though on Optic either. That's the concern as well for me. Like they're lacking some team fight, they're lacking wave clear. They're pretty much, it's very, very greedy. They're going to be really dependent on Zai having an excellent game on the Pangolier in the team fights when he gets like a Blink Dagger in particular, because versus Naga, you can just get netted until you get Blink.
Absolutely.
It makes it a lot harder to play.
They have a lot of trust in that Pango, picking it as early as they did in the draft. But, as you mentioned, TNC have reacted to that. They've got ways to answer to it. And we'll see how the lane set up mid lane. CCNC. He nearly gets the courier there. This gets brought in and gets a punch from CCNC, but Armel says it was just a bit of a bait, so he could get a couple more right clicks onto the PL.
So the big positive for me in this game is probably, for Optic at least, is 33. Him as well, besides the Pangolier. His Pango, it's all about like the mid-game team defense stuff. 33 on the clockwork. If he can get an early timing on the Blade Mail, that's going to be very, very good versus the Raven Gyrocopter, as well as maybe even like the Timbersaw / Lash. A lot of uncontrollable damage that's coming out between them. And Zai's trying to make sure that 33 has a good game. He's constantly pulling this bottom wave and manipulating it.
And sort of looking at the drafts as well, do you think it was TNC's plan always to have the Lesh in the support role, or was that a reaction to what Optic drafted, do you think?
I think they like it more in the support role.
Yeah.
I think the 2 times they've played it before, I think maybe 2 times, at least once before they have played it, and it was relegated to support.
We do have a quite potent lane up here, the two of them. I mean, these mass stuns between Sam H and Cuckoo, if they find an opportunity to jump in into that lone druid, if they can get close to the main hero. Mid lane CS at the moment, 8 for 3 CCNC, 9 for 1, pretty much even between these two heroes.
How are they going to kill this Timber? Like, the Disruptor is going to be okay for it, but he's going to have a hood pretty early on in this game, so you could see Armel have another situation where, like in the last time he played this, he just controls that whole early game.
Bottom lane, 33, trying to get aggressive here with the battery assault, but Tims, net, holds back the clockwork. They will just simply turn their attention towards Tims now. Tims the one in a bit of trouble, but top lane's actually going to be worth first, but it's Cuckoo finishes it off. So Optic Gaming will get the kill down bottom, but not before TNC make the play up top and get first blood, taking down PPD. CS, who's suffering the most. We'll see at the moment on Raven's Gyro.
Yeah, he's
getting a little behind.
Because of the manipulations from the waves that Zai's been doing, and he's actually gone for Heart Piercer early on. So this game, Heart Piercer could also be extremely relevant versus both that Timbersaw as well as the Gyrocopter, setting them down to 0 during its duration. Could be a really strong thing we have to be able to watch out for in that mid game.
Mid lane matchup continuing to be pretty much dead even between
Top lane again.
CNC,
PPD.
another attempt. Onto the disruptor. PPD's in trouble. He's gone. The lightning from Cuckoo finishes him off. This lane, as I say, these two heroes, if they get any sort of catch, they will absolutely be able to burst down a disruptor at this stage. The Lesh and Sankin combo.
They're still farming really well on Optic. 13-10 on the clockwork. Some of those are cogs, but 18 on Pyken.
They try for the bear. It would be a lovely bit of 300 gold if they can get it, and they can. Tasty little extra bonus there for Cuckoo. Zai will come in with a shield crash, start to force Sam H away. Cuckoo and Sam will be fine. Yeah, very, very tasty bit of gold to be picked up there for Cuckoo's Lash.
Yeah, Cuckoo might actually be able to just rush Arcane Boots, which is going to allow them to put a lot more pressure on that top lane.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's queued it up. 100 gold away. As you say, that is really going to allow TNC to keep that pressure high up top lane between just the two of them. We'll see how Zion this Pango can sort of react to this shifting pressure across the map and have some sort of a force himself.
Yep.
As he has got the levels, but still yet to really find a place to make a big impact.
Raven and Sam H are still suffering in the last hits. And 33, trying to get aggressive down bottom again, but this time he might get turned on mid lane.
Looking for Armel, bottom lane indeed, 33. He takes her home and misses up.
He misses the Timber Chain, Armel. He's pretty tanky though. The Tar Piercer wore off. They will be able to clean him up with the final lance.
These kills happening at the same time in multiple lanes, back and forth in this laning stage. So Tims will come through, look to pick up some of the XP whilst Armel is dead. 5 minutes in, 3 for 2. Very close, but certainly the biggest worry on the map being for Raven at the moment, as he is slightly behind on CS.
Yeah.
Top lane, another go though. To Pycat, they found the Burrow strike here. Cuckoo has the lightning slow. Pycat's still alive for now. Cuckoo can't quite get in range for the final touch. He'll turn his attention towards PPD though. He'll go for that one instead. Lightning into the double stuns. PPD getting held down and bursted. Cuckoo having a big impact on this top lane. Bottom, Zai. For the body blocks onto Tims to buy time and space for 33 to come through. Raven will be there. Now the cogs are down. Tims will fall. Can they get Zai in return? Last flag and not going to be enough. Stick charges save Zai now. Raven, he's in trouble as well. 33 looking to give him the rundown. Raven getting himself behind that tower. 33 is starting to tank it. CPs are coming through. The swashbuckle's going to be off the mark, but the cogs are. 33 finds the kill with the cogs and will get himself out to safety.
Optic's doing a great job in the bottom lane. Level 4 already on Zai, level 5 on this Clockwork, and this is what we're mentioning. They're trying to make sure that 33 has an excellent start so that he can just get that early blade mail probably and cause a lot of pressure on the map to make space for Pycat Lone Druid. But speaking of Pycat,
they've
again.
gone in again. Last time they were unable to finish it off. Can they get him this time? The Savage Roar will save Py for now, but he's incredibly low. Cuckoo looking for the wraparound. Just seeing how much he's getting done with this lightning and stone combination. PPD's in trouble. There's the Burrow strike to set up for the split earth and another kill onto PPD from Sam H and Cuckoo. Mid lane Armel, Timber chains away. But it really does seem that this combination of the Lesh and the Zanging now, in fact, Pycat, Sam H, he's found him out. Goes for the Sandstorm. He's going to be able to get that kill too. This top lane for TNC causing so many issues for Optic Gaming.
It's almost a level 6 Lesh at 7 minutes in the game. It's actually higher level than Sam H. Zai's now going to have to try to come top and make some space for this, since 33 is, for the most part, secure down bottom. PPD actually had to... Somebody actually canceled their TP that they were trying to react to top.
Instant D-board as well there for TNC, as Zai pops it down under the sentry. Bottom. Tims getting trapped up by the cogs. 33 trying to move him with the battery assault, but the homing missiles in. Raven trying to turn him with the root and the rocket barrage. They're going to have a good chance of getting this kill, and they will. TNC able to turn things around onto 33 as he gets a little too aggressive on his own on the clock.
2K gold lead for TNC now, 7 minutes in. Even though the last hits for Optic are still favorable.
They're getting these big kills and good kills here for TNC. Top Pycat really has to be careful. A very scary lane that this has proven to be.
Yeah, they just have so much mana, like 805 mana on the left track. With those Arcane Boots, they even have a bottle, so the sustain is there for them to always go for those kills, go for that pressure. Zai's pretty much having to be just the bailout for Optic, running between lane and lane, but he can only do so much.
Let's see what Zai can find, if anything, down in there. They do nearly have the level 6 on 33. The hook shot, they'll be able to find a good chance of closing the gaps. Getting stuck in. Mid lane, Armel starting to break ahead of CCNC.
Very close, though. CCNC's actually doing a pretty damn good job in the mid lane with that one rotation from Zai to secure it. Zai trying to farm out this triple stack with that DD rune. Able to clean up most of it, actually.
Top lane TNC getting some good pressure onto the tower now. It's already down to half health with the way that they've been able to shove it in. And pressure that wave right back against Pycat.
Cuckoo now level 6. So even more damage coming out of this dual lane up top. Pulse Nova is a lot of damage when you get it this early on, 100 each second.
TPs are coming in, Cuckoo's come pretty deep here. 33 with that TP, he's got the hook shot. Cuckoo will be caught out. Optic, the quick rotation from the Clockwork, able to punish TNC's aggression.
I think they have to rotate one extra hero when they're going for those type of dives. Because like Pycat is he's the key to their success in this game. Has to have good farm. And the hood already finished up now on Armel.
Tim's trying to just push Zai away. Yeah, we're seeing that mid laner, nearly a 1k difference between the two, as it's getting scarier and scarier for CCNC to come forward towards that Timber when Armel's mana's up.
Raven's completely caught back up. They put a decent amount of pressure on this gyrocopter in the laning phase, but as soon as Zai has to try to fix and alleviate the pressure on the other lanes, that's where they get the kills on 33, and they're able to actually get this gyrocopter back online. 33 now. Is invis. He's spotted though.
The root called out, holding him down. He's keeping himself the opposite side of the cogs, but the cogs will now disappear. They'll close the gap with the rocket barrage and the riptide punching into him. Chakram will connect. He tries the hook shot. He gets himself out of there.
The cogs getting like 3 pushbacks there. TNC.
Top lane though, Cuckoo. He's got split up onto PPD. Samson as well. Zai will jump forward with the swashbuckle. Gets the 2-man shield crash. He's pretty tanky. Can he find kills off the back of this? Sam H splits up. He heads down with the burrow strike. Gets himself away from Pycat. And up top, Cuckoo will continue to run. But here comes Zai. He'll roll in the once. He's looking for the double bounce play. Can he get back in there? He needs another. And the swashbuckle's going to be off the mark from Zai. So Cuckoo is able to just walk himself away.
They both survive. 3k gold lead now, TNC.
Certainly having the upper hand off the back of this laning stage. Which, as sort of was the worries of the panel, the greed from Optic in terms of their heroes was always going to be open to this sort of punishment. TNC have executed against it.
They've got Disruptor ulti now, so now maybe this is where they could look to actually make some more aggressive plays. Still that cooldown on Pango ult though for 30 seconds. And Zai's actually going for at least 1 Javelin to start off here to make up for the fact that, he's going to have to be that damage dealer in this early game because they've got a Lone Druid, they've got a PL. These heroes take time before they can get on the aggressive. They need that first item in particular for the PL, that Diffusal, before he can actually do too much.
Those Javelin procs are going to be super nice, especially against the Timbersaw.
So here comes the smoke. They're actually going to bring Pycat in with it too.
Okay.
Since he's got that Dominator, he's got a Centaur Conqueror.
Now this is, what you talk about when you're at this point with that battle cry. It's a lot of damage between the 3 of those units. And let's see what they can find. 33 will be able to set up with a hook shot.
Yeah, the Pycat rotation's also because they don't have a tower hitter behind that lone besides that Lone Druid. So if they can get a big kill, they can actually threaten the tower in mid.
Yeah, look at CCNC. They have the homing missile inbound. CCNC with Doppelganger available though. He'll easily be able to jump himself up to the high ground. 4 members of TNC towards the mid lane, and Optic are starting to approach, but smoke will wear off.
They've got their big ultis, Disruptor ult plus Pango ult.
Let's see what they can find here. CCNC though already in trouble. They've got to help this man out. The PL falling quickly. Zai comes in, but immediately gets rooted. Tries to get himself out of this ult with a cooldown, bringing him low. He's chased down. Zai will fall. They'll lose the Naga Siren on the back of it all. So 1 for 1. TNC, Sam H is already hunting for more. Gets the burrow strike onto 33. Armel and Raven close the gap. TNC get a second out of the engagement and will finish off the tier 1 tower. And not the play that Optic Gaming were looking for.
That's the interaction that we're talking about, right? It's like the Naga versus Pango. If you don't have a Blink Dagger, it's very hard to actually get successful ultimates off.
Yeah, instant root. Coming from the net.
Armel.
PPD
They've
did
got
use
the-
Static Storm in the last fight. He's got the field, that's it.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's not enough, not nearly enough damage to even try and tackle this Timber Saw.
And it's like they still only have that level 1 Heart Piercer. Once they get the higher levels of it, you could see that, you know, the negation of the armor be a big factor, but level 1 only lasts like 2 seconds or so. Optic needs more time. Already a 5K gold lead for TNC.
TNC crushing it. Armel just getting bigger and bigger. This massive threat, looking to cure the Yule Scepter next, of course. So
Yeah, when you're playing versus Disruptor, usually that's the item of choice, so you can negate a lot of that silence and damage.
buy yourself that little bit of extra time.
TNC.
Raven.
Look at the build that Sam H has gone for, too. Treads into Vanguard. He wants to be a bit of that frontliner, too, to try to protect Raven. He's done this a few times.
And they found CCNC. He's dead.
Move.
Straight up, Sam H able to go for the walk-in burrow strike from the tree line, and CCNC was not ready for that one. TNC getting some heavy pressure onto this tier 2 tower, 14 minutes in, and Optic, with their lineup, very little they can do to stop this sort of early play. A lot of damage being done. They'll TP inside.
They're finding Raven, though.
With the Static Storm back up. Raven will fall. Can Cuckoo find anything in return? He's coming into the midst of it. He's taking a lot of damage here himself, though. Burrow strike, there's the play coming through for Sam H. They'll still lose a second. Zai gets the Rolling Thunder off Optic Gaming. Looking to make sure this trade favors them. They've got the control
chain
here
stun.
onto the Timber Saw, but do they have the damage? They're hunting him with the swashbuckle, bringing him low. Jump ball with the shield crash. They get the glimpse back. They really want this Timber Saw kill, and
They get
they've
him.
got it. They've taken down Armel. Optic Gaming striking back hard. They'll look towards Sam H as well. He's going to have the burrow strike back up in a second, and the song's there from Tim's anyway. Holds them back. Sam H will be able to TP out. But Optic Gaming punching back hard against TNC and getting that big kill, taking Armel's Timber Saw out as well as Raven and Cuckoo.
Zai coming in clutch, getting that perfect control with the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
That Heart Piercer just kind of like also playing a factor there too, so they can get a little bit more damage, but the heavy rotations too. TNC getting a bit too overzealous there.
Perfect spot for Zai to make that play indeed, between the river and the cliff. Perfect opportunity to bounce around with the Rolling Thunder.
And Optic, they're looking to fight again, but this time they smoke under the vision of TNC. They do have their ultis up in about 10 seconds, though. A scan actually comes out and catches Optic. TNC are positioned on the high
really
ground
are. You don't want to come up here, Optic Zai. He's going to try, though. Goes in with the swashbuckle, goes for the Rolling Thunder, jumps in, but immediately gets rooted. Tim's there with the control. If they surround Zai, Zai able to swashbuckle himself down to the low ground. 33, he looked for a hookshot opportunity to get himself out of there, but quick with the Timber Chain. Armel picks up the kill. They'll chase down Zai. TNC reading Optic Gaming like a book.
here. With that deep ward, they saw the smoke movement, so they just sat on the high ground, and now PPD knows. He's like, yep, they knew we smoked.
14-9, TNC keeping that lead going. 6K in their advantage. Tier 2's got mid. Top lane, the Tier 2, not looking too great either for Optic Gaming as TNC push onwards.
Pycat is 500 gold from the Relic, at least. And CCNC pretty much has the Fusel Blade finished up, but they're still at quite a disadvantage at the moment. TNC continuing their pressure, as expected from TNC.
This really is the sort of style that we've seen TNC really succeed with in the early stages. And they're pulling it off here again on the main stage. A team that's incredibly good at keeping their cool at the earlier stages. The later stages are definitely the testing ground for TNC.
Sure is. 33 has, he had the Blade Mill queued up for a while. He went for like an urn, a bracer in between, and he's actually just queued up the Spirit Vessel. So they want to double down to be sure that they can actually kill Armel, because he's been such a nuisance on this Timber.
Fine, as you say, 200 now from the Radiance's Relic. TNC will see what the next point of call is going to be in terms of a play. Ravens, BKB, very close, so.
I'm really curious why Sam H decides to go for this Vanguard this game too. Maybe eventually he'll build it into that Crimson Guard versus PL, which can be very effective. But
Sure,
the reason,
yeah.
when I saw him play the Sanking in one of the other games and he did this build, they didn't have a frontliner. This time, they have the Timber, so it's a bit different. Bottom
So far,
tower getting
so far
shredded.
It's been working out. so sure as Sam H. He's in with the burst strike. Does get glimpsed back. They've got the reel onto Pycat, but no real follow straight away. Cuckoo is looking to poke it in though with the stun, the magical damage. He's trying to chase down Pi. The root's there immediately, but in fact the force forward. He's trying to close the gap. It's not going to be enough. Static Storm onto Cuckoo. He runs his way out of it. He'll turn his attention towards PPD instead. Has the lightning and the stun. Armel cuts him down as well. On the back of it all, 33 was able to close the gap onto Tims, but now 33 he's in pretty deep and he's all alone. They'll put the cogs up, but the homing missile comes forward and they have the burst to take down another double kill for Armel. It's TNC punishing Optic for pushing out as such. Couldn't quite get Pycat. That would have been the dream one, but TNC, they'll still be happy with that.
Like some of the times we see like Hood or the Dominator's usually around like 5 minutes, and the Radiance comes out between like that 15 and 17 minute mark. It's almost 20 minutes, and he's still 1,000 gold behind. But TNC is putting a lot of pressure on Optic. TNC is actually pulled ahead of Pycat.
And Zai, with his build, as you said, that he would have to do so.
He needs to get a Blink Dagger.
He's going straight for it.
When you're playing versus like these Nagas or these heroes that can like, even Clockwork, the heroes that can just stop your Rolling Thunder, you have to be able to get away to just get right on top of them instantly and chain lock them down.
So especially with that clock combo. They can get that target in the cogs.
TNC, they have the BKB now on Raven. They're looking to put more pressure onto Optic. PPD.
Sam. Easy kill for TNC.
Yeah, Cuckoo forced him forward. And now they're threatening these two bottom towers. Optic.
He's wandering out of there. Cuckoo will miss the stun. 33 is going to still get caught out by the burrow. Can they bring him down? He's pretty tanky. Jump in. They're looking for the cog play, but the cogs will wear off. And Zai has to bounce out. TNC taking down 33 as well.
You can see it's like these three heroes just trying to make all the space in the world for this PL and Lone Druid to actually be able to do something in this game because they need more time. This is what the panel mentioned. It can be very greedy when you run these two heroes. Puts a lot of pressure onto 33 as well as Zai.
We'll go for the force blade. TP up for the high ground. He's not going to make it though, Zai. And with the swashbuckle.
They now have that Radiance finished on the bear.
See if they can catch anyone. 33. Looking for an opportunity.
They find Sam H, but the sleep comes out.
They want to try and fight this TNC. Thinking about it, they do have the epicenter and the cooldown if they want to go for this. They'll drop the cooldown. Burst Strike's not going to connect onto anybody. They'll look towards 33. He's rooted, held down. Raven has the homing missile coming in onto the Clockwork. TNC catch out 33.
That was a beautiful sleep by Tims.
And they're all out of there as well.
And they're instantly going for top. Pycat.
They're going to catch him off guard. He does not expect this instant play off the back of the triple TP. He has got the Savage Roar. He's looking for Sam H, but the homing missile is in. In jumps Armel for the party. As TNC getting a huge pick off there. Pycat, a lot of weight on his lone druid to keep this game going with those split plays. But TNC, they're able to punish him.
He stayed just a bit too long. He secured the tower and he stayed there for a moment. And this is the TNC that we know and love lately.
It is. This is
non-stop aggression.
This is, as I say, this is really where they're at their element.
Yeah.
In the game.
Straight to the pit.
Into the pit here. The gaming. Only way they could get themselves over. They are down the lone druid. They have a great team for fighting around the pit.
Yeah.
But it looks like they won't be able to get there in time.
No.
TNC could have this Aegis for free.
Yeah, they're a bit too strong still right now for Optic to fight into. Zai's been farming a lot on this Pango. 82 last hits. He's very close to Sam H in net worth. But they have this Clockwork, 33, who's been the absolute sacrificial lamb this game. 3, 8, and 5. Has Spirit Vessel finished, so it will be able to help a little bit versus the Timbersaw if he doesn't have the Yules available to purge it off. But TNC still just seeming to run away with this one. PPD. They've got their ultis available. They're looking to catch TNC off guard. When they've got this Aegis, TNC might not be in position to actually respond. But they're all kind of moving together.
It's always a hard smoke to make into the Aegis of a gyrocopter. Optic. Doesn't look like they'll find anything with it. At least not over the half of TNC's map. Maybe if TNC head over a little too deep alone. Good try, but doesn't look like it's going to be the case. In fact, TNC, they will be the ones to smoke up. Well, and...
Raven's pretty far pushed up here.
Right. He's going to start to play around him. He has the Rolling Thunder. Yep. At least one stun out. And the second. Now, Raven, he's out of it. Does manage to get a BKB charge out of the gyrocopter though, Zai?
He held it for a long time too. I guess maybe he's like caught a glimpse of the disruptor there, didn't want to get pulled back. Either way, he will be fine. It's pretty hard for Optic, like getting the chain lockdown. You look at their team and they don't really have those traditional stuns. Like, you know, see, you look at TNC, they have Sanking Stun, Lash Stun. On Optic, it's like a Hook Shot and Rolling Thunder are their real stuns. They have Disruptor ulti and whatnot and Kinetic Field, but that's not that hard lockdown.
So I'll be interested to see if Zai can pull off these plays, because I believe, right, he's built the Yules. If you're Rolling Thunder and Yules yourself, you are still stunning those around you. I'll put you on the spot there, haven't I? I think
not a Pango expert here.
I believe you can do so, and I think, well, we'll see. I might be totally wrong.
Someone will let us know.
If you use yourself up whilst you are Rolling Thunder, I do believe you still stun those around you. So we'll see. We'll see if it comes into play. Now, this can be a a very nice little strategical way, if it does work like that, to sort of hold yourself in position, and especially
it does sound like it does. That sounds like it makes sense.
We'll see if Zai comes out with some next level stuff.
Perhaps.
You're checking if the chat
Let's
says
check.
all right.
I don't know if they did. They said you can, so there you go.
They say you can.
They said you can.
Hey!
But who knows?
Thank you, chat.
We'll believe the chat. We love you guys. 33. We'll be able to be safe and TP out. Optic just trying to keep that farm going. You see they're not really making too many aggressive plays. They're just like, okay, we need to get this BKB on Phantom Lancer so he can be a real hero in this game because it's still taking some time. And this is where this is the true test for TNC, right?
It is.
Can they close the game
up
out?
a game where they have an advantage? Of course, at the moment, it's not as much as an advantage as before. Maybe that's good for TNC.
Yeah, it's not a 30K.
Maybe it's bad for TNC if they get too far ahead. Now, at the moment, they're sort of comfortably ahead. And this is where they can sort of keep the ball rolling in their favor. But
Armel? Oh, he tried for it. He got glimpsed across the base, and he was about to throw the Timber Chain to try to jump across, but he's actually itemizing to deal with this split push, because Optic, they're just trying to push these lanes out. It's going boots of travel. What's up?
After the Meteor Hammer, we are going to have a Radiance being built up on the Naga side.
This is a TNC thing. I've seen them do this a few times when Tims has been playing the Naga.
Yeah.
Not too much lately, but like a couple months ago, I think it was during one of the qualifiers that we casted, we saw this happening.
And I like that, because that sort of says, if they do get ahead, and then they do sort of, have a little bit of a casual throw, they've got sort of that Radiance Naga Siren to fall back on that's going to be constantly shoving out lanes.
Yeah, it gives them another carry, because right now they're the Gyrocopter.
Extra fallback.
This is the same course that they had yesterday, right? Gyro Timbersaw, when they lost that game with a 30K lead. So they want someone else to be able to scale is what that tells me. He could still change it up. We've seen the build be like the Blink Meteor Hammer or Aghanims a few of the times, but I think I actually do like the Radiance a lot this game if you guys are able to get it. It's going to be really nice versus the PL as well to deal with those illusions.
Yeah, because the pace has certainly slowed down a bit. We saw TNC get this sort of 6-7K lead. They are now going to try and push down bottom.
Yeah, it seems like they were waiting for the MKB to be finished on Raven. And now they've got the Crimson Guard 2 from Sam H with the pipe.
Let's see how much they can get away with it. Tier 3 tower.
Look at the Sanking. 2100 HP. Pipe.
He's pretty
Crimson Guard.
Zai coming in with the roll.
Yeah, look, there you go.
Look at that. There we go. Next level stuff. Get that extra stun out. Zai's a smart man. Won't get them the kill, but we're seeing the potential here. The Yule's Pango plays. The glimpse back onto Raven. Still have the Aegis. Shot, 33, looking to kick things off, gets the cog knocked back on to Cuckoo, but an instant something comes out from Tims. The TNC want to try and take this fight there, that's the question. Doesn't look like it, they're trying to get out. Cuckoo.
Okay.
Yule Scepter. They've got the vision as Optic will be able to punish TNC in the form of Cuckoo's death. The rest of TNC do, however, get out of it.
Optic slows it down more.
They're creating space, of course. Get these lanes pushed back out.
Yeah, Pycat was able to get, what, like 800 damage on the tower? Pretty similar to how much TNC did. And now look at top. They're looking for Armel here.
All they can find. Right. Starting to play around with him. He's got the Yules to buy time for the rest of the team to come through. Armel going for the TP out. That's not going to work. They've got many Yules to scouts for that. Now, Savage Roar. The Rolling Thunder coming in as well. They're holding him down, and Armel has to go for the Bloodstone deny.
Optic starting to punch back in here. Zai's putting in so much work. 4-2-4 on this Pango, level 17. He's top 5 net worth as well. He's catching up to his big cores.
I'm liking the way he's playing, the way he's built as well. The Javelin, Blink, and Yules, as we're seeing, a lot of way to sort of catch out, have that extra stun as well if he wants to go for that sort of play. And once he has the Lincolns, very hard for TNC to deal with this Pango rolling around in the fights. That's for sure. And Tim's, he does change it up. He's actually
going
gone for the full mech.
I think they want to close the game out.
Okay. Let's see if they can pull it off, TNC.
Zai. They did see him with that ward there. They're looking to try to punish him. Gets stunned up.
It's the first opening, and with that, they should have him. I mean, he's got the self-fuels. He'll try and swashbuckle his way out. Is it actually going to be enough? He jumps himself across the trees. They're hunting. Can they find him? They'll have him. TNC in the catch. And grouped up as 5.
And now with that mech delivered, they've got Crimson Guard. They've got Pipe. They've got mech.
Zai's
forces the
buyback.
Zai buyback.
Yeah, Optic know that they can't let TNC get away with the racks at this stage. They want to keep TNC in this position where they are struggling to sort of break the base of Optic. With the full 5-man, they can go for it. Zai jumps in. They put the static sword down. Tim's in a lot of trouble here on the Naga Siren. He will fall. Naga Siren down. But Optic will be forced back. That was the BKB used as well for CCNC, so now on cooldown.
That's the Rolling Thunder too. Their big team fight spells on cooldown.
Got the sentry down, they've got eyes on Sam H, but as we said, you know, Sam H is so tanky. With
Zai's dead for 80, but Packet's split pushing.
He is. He's trying for the racks. The fortification will come out from TNC. TNC, can they actually get back to hold this, or are they just going to let it go? It looks like they're just going to let it go. They really want to stick around here, because they know that they have the mass numbers in the base. As that top racks for TNC will fall. Pycat successful for the wrap. Somewhere in a distant land, you can hear a bulldog giving it a bit of a giggle as the Lone Druid push is successful. TNC as well do manage to get the melee racks in return, but it cost them a whole lot more. As Optic Gaming showing TNC that they have to be aware of the wrap. A full rack's wiped out by Pycat.
They have to just prioritize Zai in these team fights. Like, who cares about anybody else? You have to get rid of this Pango. As soon as Zai dies, you see that they feel a lot more confident in the fight. Their building damage is pretty limited still for now, though. They're going straight toward top. They want to be able to stop that advantage that Optic's going to have with the creeps up top, so probably going for that Rax, but they are smoked, and Roche is going to be respawning right now.
TNC, the Shiva's Guard as well, and arm out.
They draw a circle right around Optic, too.
See where they can find it. 33 and keep themselves back. CCNC is up front.
They see him right now, too, with the ward.
And they jump him. They'll go in with the burst, try to cool down as well. CCNC just gets bursted. He's down for 70.
He's got buyback.
A
TNC.
quick kill there from TNC.
They've got to keep this pace up. They've got to go for this high ground push. There's no glyph available. They have to commit in.
Pi is starting to get that push down the bottom lane with his Lone Druid, but we'll see how he reacts to this one. CCNC buys back. Optic try their best to hold it, but TNC, they've taken the tier 3 tower. Onto the barracks.
They need to keep like as many like illusions and stuff running in so they can tank the edict and Kuku. Zai now committing in.
He's getting the Rolling Thunder. 33 will get the cogs onto Tim's able to get himself forced out of there. They're holding TNC down. CCNC pops the BKB, trying to commit, but the root comes through. CCNC had to double gang out of here and back away. Bycat indeed has come in from the back. See if he can get involved. In fact, that's not the way he wants to get involved. A Burrow Strike, and now the Song Tims. They're not going to fight though, TNC. It's going to be a Song and a disengage as they'll all TP themselves out of there.
PPD actually, he walked into the range of the sleep. I think he could have at least gotten the glimpse onto Tims there. I think he wanted to get a bigger target is what it looked like. He tried to get into the backlines, but missing out on a kill there because of that. TNC full disengage after getting that tier 3.
Optic, they do hold, but still, There's another tower down. TNC still continuing to grow the lead.
Optic trying to catch them before they hit the base this time. They're smoking.
And this is crucial timing where Roshan is up and available for both sides. Optic.
And they get the wraparound here. They're going it all the way around. TNC in a very defensive stance.
See what they can find here. 3, and great position for a hook shot, but Armel comes across. Samh has the power strike. They're focusing the clockwork here. 33, able to force himself out to the side. Will be fine. CCNC trying to get stuck inside. Jumps forward with the rolling thunder. They've got the static storm down as well. BKB from Ravens popped as he kites himself away to the side. Backs away. Samh, but that Crimson Guard still incredibly tanky. No one to fall as of yet. The Bear taking quite a bit of a beating.
Samh's build is actually working out so well for them. How tanky they really are once he pops both of those. Negates majority of Optic's damage, and Optic, they wanted to get something out of that. They'll at least be able to clear a shrine, but
they are slowly taking control of this area of the map. They've got the 2 opposites down as well, so good vision if they do want to try and go for that Roshan. Still no song available, so Optic can play with that in mind.
The next big timing is coming up for Raven's Gyro now, though. He's got the MKB, he's got the BKB. Butterfly's about to be done, so that physical damage is going to get even more reduced.
TNC this 7k lead, but Optic certainly showing us that this game is a close one. Optic have ways to play around, and they have to be constantly aware, if you're TNC, of the split push potential of PyCap.
Yeah.
And the side lane's pushed in with the Bear. He has the Mask of Madness as well now for that extra bit of siege potential. If he gets his hands onto the high ground with TNC.
Optic would be the ideal place for them to fight with that rolling thunder from Pango in the pit.
If Zai can get in.
He's got a Lincoln's now too, so he can block out that net.
The question is if they can get into the pit. TNC playing very careful.
Raven still hasn't committed entirely for that butterfly. Has the gold for it.
And with a set of racks down and tier 2 taking down the bottom, it's definitely a game where dying without buyback could be very, very hurtful for TNC, even though they have this 7k lead. Beat that gyro for the defenses.
PyCat's going up full in for the split push here. Has the AC finished and has queued up a Desolator as his next item. So it's all about that building siege.
It really is. Pi has had a taste for the barracks of TNC, and he certainly wants more. The pit again, TNC. Feeling a bit more confident now. And PyCap is elsewhere, pushing out these lanes. Roshan's falling. Are Optic Gaming going to be able to contest this? TNC. It's going out.
Here comes Zai to sleep.
They're popping the song. Zai, he is into the pit. They're going to hook shot as well at 33. Can they get the steal in? That's the question. No, they can't. TNC will get it. They get Roshan. They get the Aegis. Optic Gaming unable to interrupt the play from TNC.
Beautiful song there by Tim's, just securing that one. Even though he can't net the Pango in those situations because the Lincolns, it disrupts everyone else from coming in.
CCNC is being hunted. They've got the Yule set up. Have they got a stun to lock him down? Kinetic Field will be there from PPD, trying to hold back TNC to save CCNC. And it will be enough to do so. CCNC will be fine.
PyCat kills a shrine. He didn't want to go for that bottom tower, just at risk of dying if he does show. TNC's still in a pretty comfortable position here.
They do have this Aegis. They have the cheese.
I mean, they really just have to watch out. They pretty much have to keep their lanes in good spots, because if they get into a fight that's bad and PyCat's in a great position to push, he's going to kill those towers extremely fast.
It's getting to the point where, yeah, TNC can't get back. Pi can go straight for tier 4s even. Once he has the Deso, AC, and Mask of Madness, there is always that constant threat of the lone druid.
Armel's about to have Aghanim stun on this Timber. Gotta make their burst a lot scarier.
Aghanim's is done for Samh.
All right, so he's just, yeah, no blink. You know, the distance from Sanking stun is going to be great there anyway.
I mean, yeah, as we've seen, you can really feel that this is a Sanking without blink because he still had such an impact without it. He just doesn't need it.
He's 4-0 and 14.
Yeah,
Samh
he's
has
playing
been
amazing.
Yeah. Him and Cuckoo put a lot of pressure on that top lane. Zai constantly starting to cut this top wave. making sure that they can have a decent creep equilibrium.
Doing up a nullifier next as well, Zai.
Yeah.
Extra way to address these big cores of TNC.
Stop those BKBs, purge off the Yule Scepter, try to find some catches.
TNC 3400 on his way towards Biscardi. Optic Gaming almost certainly going to have to answer for this soon. Zai does manage to cut off the creep wave, but at the same time, they've managed to find CCNC here. They're straight in with the stuns, the roots. He'll get the doppelganger off in time. BKB as he runs himself away.
The missile actually went to PPD, though, because of that.
And PPD now. Static Storm's down, but they'll just walk through it. PPD's dead. And now TNC, they're in onto the racks.
And Pycat's going in toward bottom now.
He's trying as quickly as he can, Pi, to push that bottom lane. Fortification will come out from Optic, but it will not be enough to save these middle racks. As TNC...
They're going for the Megas. The back door, though, has kicked in. They have no creeps.
He's managing to get the tier 3 down. Fortification comes out. Now Zai, he's going to look to cancel TPs. He's looking for Sam H. He's got the Yules on the 1. This Rolling Thunder, making it very hard for TNC to actually get out of here.
Pycat's getting the racks.
He is. He's got himself a second racks. CCNC though gets jumped upon. TNC, they want to take the fight. They're not about the rack gaming. They're just about the full killing and fighting and murdering. And that's CCNC down for 90 seconds. Pi, he is trying to finish the game. Armel will TP back and he does get in, so he'll be able to slow things down as TNC. They'll go straight for the tier 4s themselves. Straight away. Can Optic Gaming actually stop this? There's no CCNC for 80 seconds. Buyback from Cuckoo. 33 chasing down. He gets the cogs onto Tims. Tims turns with the root. Zai jumping forward with the swashbuckle. Has the Yules control onto Tims. Shield crash comes into play. Cuckoo coming back in off the back of that buyback. TPing in to join the fight. Has the stun onto 33. Raven moves in as well. 33. Is he getting himself away from this one? He'll pop down the cogs, but he's trapped in with Sam. He'll look to chase the flat cat of the Burrow Strike. They've got the kill. Zai jumps in. Rolling Thunder bouncing between the two of them. Will be able to pop the Aegis out of the hands of Raven. Buyback from 33 and CCNC as it is now available for the PL as they'll look to get stuck into this fight. Optic Zai starting to draw TNC's attention away. Zai able to shield crash himself away from the split up.
He's got the blink away.
And he should be out of it. They're a little too slippy for them to catch. So Optic Gaming, it's the situation. They take that melee Rex down mid. They also get a tier 4 tower, but they do lose the full set of their own in the mid lane.
How many buybacks from them was that too?
Courier down here from Zai. Manages to catch it out.
Zai's everywhere.
He is. But a very, very close game. Still, this 7K lead, but that 7K lead has been there for the majority of this game. It hasn't got any bigger or any smaller. As the game has certainly settled in at a position, as we're seeing, where one mistake could cost either side the match at this stage.
Yeah. I mean, TNC's probably pretty lucky here that they have this tier 2 tower up outside the base. Otherwise, that could have looked like they would have got getting all 3 Rexes down.
Some big pickups as well now for Optic. Blink Dagger done for 33. Nullify complete for Zai. Shadow Blade for CCNC.
This looks like it's the, we're going to try to stop your TP's items, right? The Blink Dagger in particular on the clockwork, just try to catch them when they're backing up to react to Pycat's split push.
Down from Optic will confirm. TNC are here in the jungle. TNC themselves going for a smoke play. With a Confining on the side, bottom lane, nullify onto Armel. They have the root as well, and with the Rolling Thunder, Yules play getting that extra stuff, but there's time for the self-Yules. Can Armel get himself out of it?
It's got the cheese.
Able to keep alive for now, pops the cheese. Now they're looking for the turnaround. CCNC, they found Pycat.
Pycat's got no buyback.
He's dead for 70 seconds. CCNC is what he brought back. If he dies, he's going to be gone for a long, long time, and he is. 100 seconds, no PL. 2 huge kills for TNC. As they are there to back up Armel as Optic Gaming going too heavy-handed onto the Timbersaw, and they can't kill him.
He had the cheese, so he gets the Yules off, instantly pops that cheese, and his rest of his team. They knew it was coming too. They got this successful scan in the backlines there. They just really wanted to come in for the kill. TNC, can they get this final Rax though?
See what they can do. They're actually going to be able to find maybe more here. Zai is outside of the base. 33 jumps forward, but the Burrow Strike from Sam H not enough to catch out Zai. Cogs are up here from 33 as he tries to get himself away. Quick Yules from Zai means that the Meteor Hammer challenge is cancelled, and 33 will be able to get himself away.
25 seconds till Pike gets up. You see the line is drawn, TNC.
They really want to try and do something whilst this PL is dead.
Yeah, Raven's running back to base, healing up. He draws the line for his team. He's like, I'm going to get Boots of Travels. I'm going to join. We need to end this game out right
and
now.
Look at this. No
funny business.
Top lane, shoving in this one. So all 3 lanes are pushed in, making sure that even when Picat's back in 10, there's not going to be any sort of easy chance for him to begin to wrap. As TNC.
No glyph.
And see how much they can get away with in these last 30 seconds, where Optic Gaming will just be as a 4-man. It's top lane in a lot of trouble. TNC.
Should be able to get the Megas here.
They absolutely should. The hammer's down. Zai is going to jump forward, nullifier onto the gyro. Comes in with a rolling thunder, but oh no, actually blocks 33's hook shot. 33 will still find the cogs, but now he's in a bit of an awkward position. Jump ball from Arma, that's 33 dead for 70 seconds. Zai was rolling, and 33 is going to be hating. What TNC can get done now, they know.
The last range for Axis bottom. They have to clean this one up too for that
They
Megas.
want those Megas. Is there any way that Optic Gaming can stop them? That's the question. They have the nullifier down onto Cuckoo. They've taken the Lesh out, but the racks are down. They've got them
finds
all.
the DD.
TNC with a huge advantage now. PPD unable to get the glimpse in time. It's TNC reset. Looks away until Cuckoo's back in. The question is if Optic can do anything whilst there is 1 member down on TNC.
They're looking to run down mid. Side lanes are going to start getting pushed in a lot once those Megas hit.
$14K lead for TNC. These mega creeps starting to spawn. Out they go. Good that speed. I mean, already TNC looking to have just worked on a lot of the issues that they seem to have had previously in other games. This time round, the itemization, the way that they've been making these plays, taking these objectives, has been a whole lot cleaner than what we've seen from TNC in some of these other longer games. But still, there is that little risk, that chance that Optic Gaming could find the opportunity.
This is their one big push that they have to go for something big here.
He's looking to try and push back Armel here with the cogs on the side, though. PPD's been caught out. The Disruptor on the front lines. He's gone.
They're trying to make space for Pycat to go into the base, but Pycat is spotted.
He is. Straight away, they've got the root. The Meteor Hammer coming down onto the Lone Druid. He's trying for the tier 4. He will get it, but he's going to pay with his life. Pycat gets cut down. 75 seconds without the Lone Druid. The Ancient may be exposed, but in that 70 seconds, TNC will be sure to push back hard.
Bottom wave and top wave, pushing in heavily.
They are just making...
You see all the
big
desperate
movement down mid
all these
now.
like small items now being purchased last minute because this is where the game could just end. See even a Vlad's
They're going
picked
to
up
check
by
Roche.
CCNC.
Roshan would be the ideal pickup. It is nearly there.
3 seconds.
A few seconds and they would have had Roshan for this push.
But there's no Pycat for 40. They have to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. They'll look towards Zai. Zai with the Lincolns will be able to get himself away.
Glyph is available for Optic.
They still have the 2 tier 4 towers. Is it going to be enough to hold for long enough? TNC, they're going in at Zai. Will jump in. They found Armel on the front of it. Static Storm down as well. CCNC with the BKB trying to commit again with the rolling thunder. Zai gets the stun with the Crimson Guard and the force is there. Armel will be fine for now. Jump forward, Burrow Strike for Samage. Catches it out, CCNC. CCNC trying to get himself back towards the base, and he will. He'll be back in the fountain. But TNC,
They're focusing buildings.
they've pushed Optic back. They've found the tier 4 towers. They're looking towards the Ancient. Fortification comes out. Pycat will be back up in 2 seconds. Is it going to be soon enough to stop this push from TNC? The Ancient's exposed. TNC, they've found CCNC. The Phantom Lance is down for 80 seconds. Pycat getting rooted. Can Optic really hold without their Phantom Lance? He's getting controlled. And Savage with the Burrow Strike is in. And TNC have done it. They'll take down Optic in the best of 1.
You could see this time, though, the difference between yesterday. They felt the pressure for a moment. They were like, wow, we can't let this game get to the stages that it did like yesterday. And they were a lot more keen on the itemization in particular.
Absolutely.
Raven having much different items this time around, not going for like these, like the Lincolns or anything. He goes for more of this pure damage, as well as you saw Tim's. We mentioned the Radiance. No, he was like, we need this mech. We need to end the game. We can't let Optic do this split push shenanigans.
This is very refreshing to see from TNC. I mean, we saw this. They got their early lead. This is TNC style. They get this advantage. But then it sort of settles. It's sat at about, well, there's 7-8K lead for at least 20 minutes. where the question was, are TNC actually going to be able to close it up, or Optic going to get the chance to swing things around? And my goodness, you know, PyCat certainly put in the work to keep Optic in the game.
Zai and PyCat were absolutely ridiculous in this game, trying to do everything for their team, trying to put them on their backs, but just not enough versus this TNC lineup.
TNC, during that time, they make the correct calls, they get the right items online, and they're able to push together in a way that no matter how much rat the Optic look for, it's not enough to keep the game going. TNC, a team to definitely keep your eyes on as they progress now here at DAC, as they are looking absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, they fixed, you can tell, they definitely worked on a lot of those mistakes from yesterday, and it's good to see them playing at that little bit better level.
Well, now we have it, ladies and gentlemen. TNC will move onwards, and it is the end of the road for Optic Gaming here at DAC 2018.
The end of the road in the top 8. Optic finish inside the top 8, but again miss out on DPC points. TNC moving on, as Owen says, and they will now face one of the upper bracket losers, which we'll find out a little bit later on as we move into those 2 best of 3s for the semi-finals. But let's break things down with our panel once more. Winter, it looked a bit like yesterday for a while in there, but fortunately they were able to close this one out.
They have itemization problems again. Like yesterday, people were talking about the gyro, building a Lincolns, not having a nullifier. Today is about no daggers on any of their heroes. The reason why Zai could have done the ratting, the speed pushing the whole game, because they have no one to catch. Sanking had no dagger. Naga didn't build a dagger. The Sanking just somehow went for this tank build. I'm okay with going pipe Crimson if you have, as long as you have a dagger in the mix. But they have no catch, so the game sort of like stalled out for what 15 minutes. The net worth lead wasn't like progressing.
It did have shades of yesterday, Will, didn't it?
Yeah, and I completely agree with Winter, because you built this Sand King to kind of just be like an Underlord, like a more mediocre version of like a mediocre version of an Underlord.
And as a result, they just let Pango always jump in, right?
Yeah, and he even got Ags before he went Blink Dagger. So he never got an ult off. He was just a stun bot, and he was tanky. It was cool at first, but at some point, like, you do need that initiation, like Winter said. This game was weird, though, because I felt like TNC, they really had to work for this one.
Yeah,
like when Neski made the hard.
There was also one, I think, major mistake by how TNC played the game. They were like 5-manning too much, which I felt like Timbersaw had a boots of travel. The only reason why Lone Tree could have done the splitting as well was because Timber wasn't defending the lane. He just needs to defend the lane, boost of travel to the fight at the last moment when they're sieging. Why is he pushing with his team when the Lone Tree is not in base? Why does he have to do that? It's just giving more opportunities for their opponents to find ways to deal with the push.
Yeah, especially when Optic's best choice of being able to win this game was entirely based off of the Lone Druid split push. There was space for Timbersaw to be by himself in a lane, dealing with the push out, and then joining his team. So I completely agree. TNC maybe made it a little bit closer than it needed to be, but I think also Optic played very, very well. 2 members in particular really shown. Zai as well as PyCat. I think Zai, Pango definitely showing that this support pickup is well worth it. Well worth the first pick, despite the fact that TNC actually thought they had the counter with the Naga Siren. But as soon as he, he still managed to play his early game pretty well. He still managed to get really good initiation. Sure, they would get an ensnare on him, but his initiation had already had an impact. Yeah. And then later on, he's able to get this Lincolns, and there's nothing that TNC could really do at that point.
Yeah, you see Zai finishes at the top of the damage for his team. Nearly has as much as Armel does on the Timbersaw as the 4th position Pango. But I thought Armel and Raven both played a beast game. Hey, Sam H is 6-0, but I feel like the Blink Dagger choice, or the lack thereof, made it a little bit more difficult.
Definitely could have made it easier on themselves, Winter, couldn't they?
Yeah, but back to the draft, like I was really worried about having the PR and Lone Druid. It showed throughout the early to like 15-20 minutes. They were always just fighting with 3 heroes. PL, I'm hitting creeps, guys. Lone Druid, I'm also hitting creeps, guys. TNC is fighting with the whole team running around. Zai was just, since we can't fight at all, he's just been split pushing, and so happened there's no blink. That's why the game felt like it's just stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling.
We're going to talk about MVP, but I figure there might be a couple of candidates from the other losing team, which we don't normally get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so who are you going with?
Zai.
I'm down with Zai.
All right, it's very rare we actually award MVPs to a player on the losing team, but in this particular occasion, I think Zai head and shoulders above everyone else in the game, almost single-handedly trying to win the game on his own. In this particular match.
And I think people going forward in this tournament are going to, or at least should be, a lot more worried about this Pango. I mean, Optic first picked it here, and it was the most valuable hero in the game. So,
who are the teams that are still left in that can play? Like
Mineski.
Yep.
They're running the offlane.
LGD, or you'd assume Liquid have probably been playing with it.
I'd imagine that they've touched the hero once or twice.
Didn't they try Kuro?
Yeah.
Pango?
5 position.
They did, yeah. Okay. Apparently, we've got an interview with one of the TNC members. Not just yet, but we'll cut to that as soon as we see them on the stage. It's good for TNC, though. That's top 6 now, guaranteed. 1 away from getting some DPC points, which they really need, Will.
Yeah, and it's a lot of points. It's going to make, is it Fnatic sweat? Fnatic's like in 9th right now in points.
Yeah,
Na'Vi.
Yeah, Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these teams should be somewhat concerned now.
Yeah, and Na'Vi don't seem like they are in a very good position to gain points.
All right, we've got the interview on stage. Let's,
感觉非常棒。
我感觉他已经开心的手舞足蹈了。那么我们回到严肃的话题，就是虽然他们这场比赛赢了，但是还是差一点点被翻过去。他们怎么样看待现在队伍的这种，包括昨天的比赛，现在这个比赛状态？
It was a back and forth game. You guys was always have a leading the goal difference, but Optic definitely has some good defense. How do you feel about the game? Also, you guys have a similar draft yesterday against VG. How do you feel about your team just performance today?
I think it's just good because they have only the bear that can just split push, but they cannot fight on us. So we feel so confident just to team fight and just finish the game.
我觉得其实还是比较好打的，因为他们只有小熊一个点可以跟我们来进行一个分推，所以我们当时就觉得打到后面肯定还要打一次正面的团战，所以我们就一直把这个局势控制住，然后最后赢下比赛。
我们也很想问一下关于昨天的比赛，因为这个大数据老师一直不太看好他们，包括他们已经领先2万竞技的时候 ，Dota Plus 还是一个只有6-4开的一个预测。那么他们怎么样看待对于大数据的这样的一个预测？
Talk a little bit about yesterday's game, last game against VG. You guys was always with a big, huge goal difference, but Dota 2 Plus says you guys only have a 60% win rate at the middle of the game. So how do you feel about yesterday's performance? How do you feel about that game?
I think we just fuck up when we push the high ground, not getting the Roshan first. Then the game really hard when they got the Aegis. So it's our fault.
It's not about draft. It's just you guys didn't play that well. Yeah. So 最后的话就是那场比赛，其实我们就是小细节上没有做好吧，比如说打肉的时候没打好，然后包括上高的时候，有些时候都是犯了一些很愚蠢的错误。所以我觉得主要可能还是我们自己打的问题，然后和包括像选人之类的，主要还是我们自己没处理好吧。
OK， 我感觉到酷酷非常的兴奋。那这样吧，不如用我们就是中国人或者说我们亚洲人的一个方式，对着我们这个镜头比个心，好不好？我感觉到非常的开心。 好吗？一直在展示这个 TNC 的 logo。
So I can tell you are very happy right now. Can you say something, shout out, make some shout out to the fans?
Hello.
大家好。
好吧，还是比较害羞的。OK， 那么这样的话，我们还是有请李小姐送出我们这一次亚洲邀请赛的纪念夹克，然后由酷酷帮我们来签个名字，来有请。
All right, some words from TNC there. We were just looking at the DPC points, actually. For finishing 4th, you only effectively get a small amount of points. It's just 75 points, even though it's a major. Because there's the top 4 here get points, because it's double limb. So you can finish 4th and you can finish 3rd. It would move TNC to 12th. If they finish 3rd, however, you do get quite a bit more points. They would go from 270 to 875, which would move them to 11th. But it would move them into that kind of section of teams that have got very similar points in Mineski, Na'Vi not far away, EG not far away. If they made the final, they would move to 7th, above EG and just behind Vici J Thunder, which would be absolutely crazy for TNC. And if they happen to win, if they happen to go all the way, which I'm still not ruling out, I don't think anyone would rule them out right now, they would actually move to 4th overall with 2,510 points. Which would put them in a very good position to make TI, because all of the teams behind them would also then have to win a major before the end of the season to overtake them or gain the equivalent amount of points. So there's so much on the line towards the end of this season, and I feel like it's all kind of culminating for these teams. Just one great performance, Cap. One, if you can deliver for a week or 2 weeks at some of the bigger tournaments, you're in TI.
And it's a more viable now, right? Because of the fact that some of the point hogs have already been eliminated in Secret and Newbie. So you have VP and Liquid, who are still the top teams, who are still in this tournament. But if you can get through them, you can get that. Even just grand finals would be a huge win for any one of these teams.
Yeah, all of the smaller teams, Winter, are looking to try and see whether Vici can go out and whether Liquid can go out and Virtus Pro can go out. Because if they can, then the smaller teams are going to pick up a hat full of points. And it only has to happen once at any of the last few majors. And a team could actually get to TI on that basis.
Yeah. Like our match later, VG against Mineski, they're both so close together. That match is going to have huge implications.
Yeah,
on
it's
that.
going to be a massive one. Talking of which, we're going to move on. Thank you very much to all three of you. We have 2 more best of 3s today, and we have the 1v1 competition as well a little later on. The quarters, the semis, and the grand final of that 1v1 competition coming at the end of the day. Next up, we're going to take a leave from the lower bracket and move back to the upper bracket, where the top 4 teams so far at DAC will be in action in the semi-finals next.
Da 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 da.